Okay, welcome back. We've completed the car body now, and the next thing we need to do is work on the wheels. Now, you might ordinarily think, right, we can start drawing the wheels inside this drawing, but when we're using solid modelling, it's good practice to draw our components separately and bring them together in an assembly drawing, a bit like where you'd, for example, have a chair at home. It's made up of lots of different components that are then assembled together, and it's the same way we're going to do that here. So we've got the car body. We need to create another part now called wheel. So I'm going to click on this plus sign, bottom left-hand corner, to insert a new element, and I create Part Studio. So we can see that it's loading up a new studio area. Just for organisational purposes, I'm going to right-click at the bottom on the tab and rename this part called wheel. And we need to start a sketch, and I need to select a work plane to sketch on, so I'm going to select the front plane. I've selected that now. Just so for ease, I'm going to click on the front part of the navigation cube so I can see that full on, so I can do a clear and easy two-dimensional sketch. We're going to use the circle tool here, so I'm going to select the center point circle, and I'm going to select the center axes of our work planes there and just drag a circle out at any size. We're going to change this size now to 80, so I'm just going to once I've left click, I can type 80, and it will change that circle to a circle with a diameter of 80. And I'm going to find the center point again, and I'm going to do the hole for our axle to go through. And again, that's far too big. If you remember from our previous drawing, our axle is 8mm diameter, so I'm going to just turn this dimension to 8 and click my little tick there to finish the sketch. And if I go to the camera and render options and go back to isometric, I can see now that I've drawn my circle for the wheel. I can then use the extrude tool now, which you should be getting used to, and I'm going to select the entity that I want to extrude, which is this part here. And the default setting is 25. I'm going to change this to 10, and we'll have our wheel. So I'm going to click the tick to confirm I want that extrusion. Now, what we can do to make our wheel look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing is we can add some more detail to it. So I'm going to click Sketch. I'm going to click on this front face here, and I'm going to click on the front of my navigation cube so I'm looking at it square on again. This is optional, and whatever I do, you might look at that and think, well, that's good, Mr. Astor, but I think I could do something more exciting. Please do. I'm going to select the line tool, and I'm going to select the center of the circle. I'm just going to draw a line, doesn't matter too much, about 27mm, and escape that line there. And I'm going to draw a circle here, and I'm going to change that circle to say 10mm, and click Escape Circle. The next thing I want to do is I want to repeat that circle around the wheel. So I am going to go to the, yours will be set at default, yours will look like this. That will be set at a linear pattern. We want to look at a circular pattern. So I'm going to select my circle because that's what I want to repeat, and it's going to repeat that 3 times as a default. It's worked out that we've got the center axis there, it's going to repeat it 3 times. I'm going to change that now to double click on the 3, and I'm going to change that to see what 8 looks like, and I'm going to zoom out. And if you look at that now, we've repeated that 8 times, so I'm going to escape that there, and it should have repeated it. It hasn't, so let's try that again. And I'm going to double check that, make sure that's 8. And what I did there was wrong. I escaped. I want to confirm that sketch rather than escape. And you will notice that it has repeated that 8 times around my wheel. The next thing we need to do is I'm going to look at that 3 dimension again. So I'm just going to go to isometric, and I am going to click extrude, and I'm going to select each circle on there. So I've selected all those circles there. You need to select them all. And again, this is down to your own artistic license. I'm going to change the direction of the extrusion. Instead of adding material, I want it to remove. And we know that it is 10mm thick, so I'm going to type in 10. And if we look at that now and click the tick, we've now got some holes in our wheel. And what we could also do now is I'm just going to soften the edge of the wheel. So we're going to use the radius tool. So we're going to find the top bit, radius, or the fillet. And I'm going to select that edge and that edge. I'd had that set to 2 already. You could change that to 5 if you wanted. 5 wouldn't look so good, I think, but I'm going to go back to 2 and click the tick. And we're going to orbit around, and we now have a wheel. And we're going to leave it there. And the next thing we're going to do is look at assembling our car. Thank you very much.